What's good, y'all? We are back for another week of the Why I'm Geek show, episode 68. We are back in the building. Your favorite duo, Ginato and the homie ChrisyLite. What's good, Chris?
What's good, y'all? I hope y'all had a good time, because today we're back with a mega banger, a 10 out of 10 episode from House of the Dragons.
There you go.
I don't know what you're gonna say today, but I'm saying it. This is definitely the best episode I've seen so far in the series. I don't know if this is technically like a mini finale or something. This is one of the best. So, welcome. I'm Geek.
On me. So, I'm excited about this one too, because it was just this, like you said, it was the best episode. Like, they have been leveling up as we go, but for me, the best part of this is just being able to compare and contrast to what Game of Thrones was. You know what I'm saying? And just like seeing the little nuances that play a factor, and maybe it's like, man, maybe they did this or maybe they did that. So it's we're getting into it. We'll get into more of those things in this episode, but we're also going to be talking about some She-Hulk eventually, probably at the tail end, just because we have some things. At least I have some things I want to say because they fry me over there. But let's stay positive. And start with the most negative character on the show, Daemon. How you feel about Daemon, bro?
He's the best, bro. He's really the best. And I'm pretty sure this episode started off with the little scene with him heading back to the Vale, right?
Yeah, we got to see his wife for the first time.
And bro, this man came out. He was in this looking like Luke Skywalker.
Nah, he was a Sith Lord, bro.
Yeah, a Sith Lord. There we go. Like Darth Maul.
Yeah.
And it just felt like, yo, this man's about to do something again.
Yeah.
I just don't. They just write this man. So as soon as he comes on screen, something crazy is gonna happen. But finally, we saw his wife, and we get to see an interaction between them that we've been hearing about. Like, hey, you got a wife back at the Vale. You got a wife back in the field. Go see your wife. So how'd you feel about finally meeting his bride?
I was geeked because I was like, who is this lady at first? I was like, I didn't know who this was. I was like, where are we at? And then two, it's just like, okay, she riding on horseback. She liked that, I guess. You know, and then when she finally said husband, I was like, oh,
I know what this
is who it is. Right? And I was surprised because she was supposed to be like ugly. She was supposed to be like, you know, just the most worst person on the earth, right? And we come to the show and we see her, and she's like none of those things. Like, you can tell like there's bitterness between them, but it's mainly Daemon's fault. Like, yeah, it's mainly because he's just not a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, she's cold, but it's more so, I think it's more so of like in an alpha and another alpha type thing. Like, she don't take no crap, but at the same time, it's like he probably saw that and was like, oh, I don't know if I can handle all that, you know?
Yeah, she did seem kind of witty too.
Yeah, and like, he's probably not used to people like clapping back at him like that. That's why he messed with Rhaenyra. But Rhaenyra, it's just like, that's still his, like, you know, he still feels like superior. So when you bring somebody that's like supposedly on the same level, who has an inheritance, who has all the things that Daemon has ever wanted, and that recognition, and for him to just go in feeling like not trash, but just not the best, you know, there's he's liable to have some insecurities, you know what I'm saying? Those is on true display, and that man used the Force, bro. I don't care what nobody said. He used the Force.
Yeah, I was a little. He just. And then all of a sudden, the horse was like, "Oh!"
That's why I don't mess with horses, bro. Horses are too big.
You're right, Sith Lord.
Yeah, but like, how did you feel about the way she went out, though? I think she went out sad, bro.
To be honest, a lot of stuff in this series, they be introducing characters with the quickness, and then they're gone. Yeah. So I was glad we finally saw her, and I was just so shocked that, like, they gave us the okie doke where I thought this girl was gonna be trash, and I was like, oh, okay. She kind of looked tough. She seemed like a hunter or something. Yeah, scouting around her lands. and she didn't even look half bad. And
Mm-hmm.
it just really goes to show Daemon's character.
Right.
And then he came here to murder this girl, and even
Yeah.
she knew like oh, so what are you gonna do with Rhaenyra? And then she realized like his whole plan.
Yeah.
And then boom, and she fell off the horse. I guess she broke her spine or something back.
Mm-hmm. That's how he fell
And
on
then,
her.
yeah, fell on her.
We gotta add that meme in there where the horse jumps back. You know what I'm talking about? And it's like a nuclear explosion. You haven't seen that meme?
Yeah.
They gotta do that one. That's gotta be the new one of that. But go ahead.
But then she was like, "You're not even gonna finish it," and he was like, "Oh no, I'm coming to get this rock. I was looking for the right rock." And this man, boom, Daemon, starting off the best episode right, man. Just
Right.
the best episode right.
And he don't even gotta say nothing for real. That'd be my thing with Daemon. He don't even be saying much. He's all about that action. You know,
you know his character.
Yeah, and his face says it all. You know, so it was that was a crazy opening, But then we get onto this boat, man, and we set sail. We got King Viserys and Rhaenyra, Cole, and the new hand Lionel Strong. So, you know, an obvious next choice has been made for the next hand. How do you feel about the hand so far? Because he's made some plays in the midst of this episode, but you know, as far as like replacing Otto, like, how do you feel about the direction like he's like in his approach to things?
I mean, I think you hit it on the hammer last time, that he was going to be the hand and that he seemed to have the king's best interests at heart. So I'm cool with it. I was just I just kind of expect more from the hands to be really, really shifty. So I'm hoping once we do this time jump that we see more of his actual plays compared to what we already see now.
Mm-hmm. I'm with that. I just like how he got goons. You know what I'm saying? Like, Otto didn't have no goons like that. He got goons, and I mean, they're not goons, but they his sons. But they run the play for him. I feel like he's the mastermind, and they are the action takers. So like, it doesn't really come back to him. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
Like the previous one had different type of goons, and you want big bodies right there with you. Okay.
Yeah, like I like how he was just like, hey. And then they went ahead of that. I was like, oh, that's hard. I was like, okay, I see you. But you know, we step on to, you know, not the stepstones, but the Sea Snakes Fortress. We meet the Valerians again, and this was, to me, you know, what I was waiting for. I wanted King Viserys to be on his knees, asking King Corlys, or not King Corlys, but Lord Corlys, to not marry his son, to marry Rhaenyra. Well, I can't even talk right now because I'm too excited. But I was just waiting for that interaction, because we've been seeing this build throughout the whole season so far. So this was finally the moment, and I was expecting more. I'm not gonna cap. I was expecting to see more from him, on like more so like an asking. Like what he was asking for wise. Like I feel like what he asked for was not like goes without saying, but it was more petty than actual like moves. I feel like I thought he was going to ask for like some type of territory to go along with it, or like a certain security measure to like raise their status up in it. But how did you feel about it?
I definitely could see that. I was just, to me, I kind of like the sneakiness of the wordplay and like how they wanted this to go down. Like, I'm already dating or married to a Targaryen. So now that we're gonna get this thing going, you know, the only way we can go up is literally to be on the throne. So if our grandbaby gonna be the next king, you know, it's got to have our name. Like that's the tradition type thing. You know, he's playing with your own traditions and using it against you.
Right.
And I kind of like that because it's like no disrespect because it's only like honoring your family's traditions.
Mm-hmm.
But then the king was like, "Nah, I can't go like that." And to me, it shows a lot about this Targaryen pride about their name.
Right.
They're even the way they act, all of them, they're too dang prideful to be like they have to have their name on everything. They have to have done something. And even later on in the episode, the king was talking about how will people remember me? Like I didn't do
Right.
nothing epic. I didn't do nothing grand. Like will there be any songs about me? And then the dude was like, what's wrong with not having songs? Like you reigned over a peaceful era. Like
Yeah.
sometimes those songs are bad. With
Right.
like bad omens or bad times. But like this dude was like, if they can have your name, Valerian, up until they ascend the throne, then they'll be Targaryen. And I'm just like, bruh, that's not a Targaryen though. Like,
yeah, it doesn't work like that.
The whole name is like different then. Like that whole lineage is technically sort of different. But I get what the king was doing. He was just making it clear, like, you know what? And that shows his intentions. Like, he deep down is like, a Targaryen is going to be on the throne. A Targaryen is going to be on the throne, which makes Corlys kind of be like, but I'm going to take it because, I mean, there's no other level up. Like you said, what are you going to give me? An island or something?
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think my only thing about the king in this situation is he even going to be there to enforce this? You know what I'm saying? Because Rhaenyra would be the one who is the ruler, right? And then Lenore would be I think they said it was the king's advice or something. I forgot what the actual term was, but it was just like king consult. He would be the king consult. And so you would think, regardless of like, this is a whole generation after you barely staying alive now, who knows if that child is going to want the Valerian or Targaryen name.
They'd want the Targaryen name. Come on.
I mean, but still, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like, it sound good, right? It sound good, but in action, how is that really going to work out? Because
it's like a easy way to put your family on top of the pole going to the future.
Right. And it's like, because like the answer to that problem is super easy. If you want to keep the Targaryen name, you put Aegon on the throne. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly, and it kind of hints to the king's real motives, like
It's like you think I'm gonna just let my name die with my daughter, or this be the end of my era? I'm like, bro, you did this to yourself. He's like, I'm just letting you know what it looked like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was like, and even after that conversation, he was talking to the queen that never was, and he was saying that I overstepped. And I like that interaction because it showed, that's a true partnership right there because, where he's weak, she's strong in just, knowing how things are going. But one thing I did notice through this is that, he brought it up again. He's like, you should be on the throne. You should have did this. He don't want to let it go. She even told him. He was like, yo, let it go. Like, this was years ago. We got to focus on our children now. You know what I'm saying? Because this whole thing will be putting a target on their back, right? On Lenore's back specifically. So it's like, do we really want to do this? And you could tell.
Like I said, you're right there already.
Yeah.
And that extra jump,
right?
It's a dangerous one.
Yeah. So that was a really good like opening to this show, and I was just like, that was something I've been waiting for. I'm waiting. I was like, I thought he was gonna grovel. I thought he was...
and they did kind of show the king was sick in that interaction, so even they know, like,
everybody knows,
like he ain't gonna last long. We gotta do something now, like
right. So that was dope. So they head back to, like, they make the agreement, and we also see Rhaenyra and Lenore have a super prolific conversation or progressive conversation in their arrangement. You know what I'm saying? Because they both like the taste of different foods. That's what they were saying with it. How did you feel about that conversation and how that went down? Because for me, I didn't know what they were talking about at first. I was like, yo, I'm confused.
I've said it in these pods so many times. Why is there not another episode that kind of shows a little bit more about these characters' interactions? Based on what we saw, we know they've been interacted before, many times before. And, Rhaenyra's just like, okay, I know how you swing. You know how I swing. Let's keep this up for the family. But, we both understand we're not like that. And the dude was like, cool type thing. But it's like, for us to see it, this is the first time us are seeing them talk and stuff. Like, why is there no small interaction here or there, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe like a hint that maybe that he's gay. And then later in this episode, we see it. Like, it's just so much of the series. They kind of show it to you and you're like, oh, okay, I guess that was happening behind the scenes. And I'm like, you could have just had a small little sprinkle episode just to really get me to feel this character's vibe instead of being one episode and then gone type thing. One episode, then gone. I'm like, I just need a little sprinkle.
There was in the whole war. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, that was the only other time we got to see him have any type of
standing at attention.
Right. Like, that was the only other time. And then, the other time they were all kids, so they didn't have no lines in there. So it was interesting seeing those two together and just be able to so quickly come to an agreement, and it seemed like everything was gonna be good. Everything was like, oh, we're on the right track. Everybody's happy, win, 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 But then we get on the boat. We get back on the boat, and we see who starts losing. And that was Christian Cole. Christian Cole professes his love. Christian Cole lays it all out there on the line. That joint must have been water, because he was that man was a whip, bro. That man was super whipped. And I was in not disbelief that he would just go like this, but like, I was like, bro, like, you did all this work to get here.
Hey. That dragon like that. That dragon like that. You know what I mean?
All you gotta do is keep it going. Like, what? You in a good position. She in a good position. Like, she's one of the most powerful people in the kingdom. Just because she
is not progressive at all. He was like,
he's not, bro.
He was like, hold up. What you mean?
Right. He's like, I broke my vow. I broke my my vow to the throne or whatever for you. I'm like, bro, nah.
Rhaenyra was like, bro, nah, chill out.
Yeah, like, I am the crown. She told him, she was like, I've been working for this my whole life. You think I'm gonna give it up for you? And she didn't say it like that, but she said it like that though.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Like, Cole is he's a little delusional in this episode. And Rhaenyra, of course, she's power hungry like all Targaryens, but it's just like, dude, you want her to give up the throne so she can just live with you? Like, everyone knows who she is. She's a Targaryen. Right. She can barely hide who she is in public.
Right.
Like, there's no scenario where you can run away with her and everything be good. Like, you guys have a whole livelihood. Like, they will murder you on sight type thing if someone else usurps the throne. They'll be like, oh, there's a Targaryen. Like, we literally watched Game of Thrones. They was like, oh, you like a bastard child? Boom. Got him, get you gone. So he was a little delusional with that
super
love
naive
thing. Naive.
And even when she explained to him what the situation was, like, we can keep doing this, and he just couldn't accept the fact that he couldn't love her publicly. But I'm like, well, if you wanted that, you should never try to be a knight or whatever, or came a card to the King's Guard, because it's just like, the only person stopping you is you. Like, he was his own worst enemy in this episode. Yeah. And it was sad to see, bro. Because Youngest didn't feel bad for him last week, but I knew what was happening. I knew what was coming. I was like, bro, he whipped. Like, he done for after this. So, once we get back to the kingdom, we also see that somebody's, and that is Otto. Otto had to leave. In the rain too. They didn't give him a chance for it to be no good weather to travel. Yeah. He just had to be out there by the time they left. So he has an interaction with his daughter, the queen, and he basically sets the table. He lets her know, like, yo, let's be real. You know what I'm saying? You're grown. Like, I'm not going to just sit here and not explain to you what's really going to happen if you keep going down this path, because your only option right now is Aegon. You have no more friends in the keep, and you're stuck because Rhaenyra is still the heir. So you need to do what you need to do. And she just wasn't like, she did. Like, Alicent was my favorite characters this episode as well.
Yeah,
because we got to see her transformation, into who she's going to be. But like, this was probably like one of my favorite like Otto moments too, because we got to see that he really does care about his daughter. He really does care about his family. We see them embrace for the first time, because prior to that, it was more so like, all right, this is what it is. You're gonna follow my rule. I'm your daddy, and this is what we're gonna do. So how did you feel about this interaction? Because for me, it was one of the, like, I was like, oh, we're getting to it this like episode.
Bro, I'm gonna agree again. The Otto moment, like, this one finally feels like Otto is doing what's good for his family, his daughter, and the kingdom. It kind of makes you go back to the previous episodes, and you're like, he looked a little sneaky, but it didn't seem like he was playing too much sneaky, because he was pushing Aegon to be like the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems deep down he knows, King, you're being foolish. The realm is not going to accept your daughter on the throne. And like this episode said, war is going to follow. Yeah. So the only option there is Aegon. So prepare Aegon to rule type thing. Mm-hmm. Because if not, they're going to start coming for the throne. There's going to be a Game of Thrones and next day. But it's just great because this is finally a scene and an interaction where Otto really shines and then Alicent really shines, and we get to see her do even better in the next scene. So it was just actually really great storytelling and writing that entire scene.
Yeah, I agree. And, it allows us to see Alicent enter her villain arc.
Oh,
so I'm excited, but we got to talk about something first, because somebody tells on himself in this episode, and that was Cole. Cole is just still down bad. Like, they just got back. They just got back to the crib, and he gets summoned to the queen, and the queen has some questions. And even in this whole interaction, when you go meet the queen or the king, he ain't even supposed to do all this talking. So you knew it was on his heart. He had to get it off. He had to tell somebody. You know what I'm saying? And Alicent basically, tells Cole she knows something about Rhaenyra and wants to know from him if he's seen anything. But she doesn't get to the point of asking if it was about Daemon or not. Mm-hmm. Cole interrupts her and lets her know that him and Rhaenyra had relations.
Smash.
So I don't think I've ever seen somebody fold so quick for no reason in a show. And I think it's a setup. I think this is a setup for something amazing in the future, just because Cole is the not necessarily Jon Snow, but like the honest person, the honorable one, the one that wants to be honorable, right? But apparently, I was on a panel last night after the episode came out, and somebody said that he said that Cole was pretty much like a thug originally before he became a knight. So it's that, seeing how far he doesn't come. So if he came from that life to, being a knight, and then joining the gold cloaks or the white cloaks. What is it? White cloaks or gold cloaks?
I think it's white for him.
White cloaks, yeah, white cloaks. And that being like the highest honor that he has reached. And
his family.
And to give that up, he done lost everything. He done lost hope. He done lost who he thought was his girl, you know what I'm saying? And now he's in a situation where he thinks the queen knows. And he just, like, he's ready to end it all. He's just like, yo, go ahead, take me out. I can't do this. Like, he's just straight on folded. I was like, bro, I was like, ain't no way you just did that. I had to rewind it back. So this whole sequence, like, what were you thinking, Chris? Because I was thinking, I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
Like it just made me realize that Cole is this honorable type character. Like he cannot lie. He's just one of those characters that he has to do the goody thing.
Right.
Like, oh, it may not be right, but like this person, I've always trusted this person. I have to do it for this person. And like, it's like, oh, this is the queen. I've already forsaken my vows to knighthood and all of that. I can't just keep going down this path type thing. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you self-reporting?
Right.
Don't
Nobody
be self-reporting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's like this knight has no, she don't got nothing on you. Why would she bring you here and interrogate you if she got something on you? But he's this honorable knight character. So I get it. But honestly, that entire scene what I was thinking about, I'm like, good job, Alicent, because finally her character is getting some valuable plays, valuable screen time, and valuable actions. I'm like, she's realizing from that one interaction, like, she was like, I thought the rumor it was with Daemon. It's with you. But not only that, like Rhaenyra lied to my face. She said she was still a maiden.
Facts.
So she's keeping all this together, and she's just realizing, like, in my opinion, she's realizing there's this Game of Thrones going on. Y'all are lying left and right, and all y'all are trying to act noble, trying to be like, oh, Rhaenyra should be the rightful queen because queen to be. And then she's realizing, like, you know what? Maybe Aegon should be on the throne. Hold up. The baby on the throne now. Like,
Facts. So, yeah, I 100% agree with you, man. It was a coming out party for Alicent for sure, but, you know, I'm excited to just see that duo in the future. But now, I mean, we're going to get into the wedding soon. But before we do, you gotta talk about the king's arm, bro. Because what was that? That joint was gross. I couldn't even tell what was going on. Some people are saying it's leprosy. Some people are saying it's like the stone disease or something like that. I just think he got infected from the throne. That's what I think it is, you know. And they just don't know when to chop something off. And like he should have chopped his whole hand off before it even got to that point. But now
I'm on the same page with you.
Yeah, now it's done spread, and I'm like, yo, is the maester? Like, who paying the maester? You know, because the maester's just like, nah, we're giving him leeches. He loves leeches. I'm like, yo, you're supposed to be solving the problem. Like, what are you supposed to be the grand maester? How do you not know how to fix this? You
plotting.
know?
We don't know yet, but are they plotting?
Right. So it's just
questions.
What's the deal with that, bro?
You're onto something. Something's going on where I know the grayscale theory was in the beginning. I'm just kind of with you. I thought it was just he's infected and it's just infecting his body over time, and they don't understand what they're supposed to do. But it just goes back to maybe the Grand Maester isn't doing his job right.
Yeah.
And also from the previous episode when someone gave was it the Grand Maester that brought the potion to? But he said the king ordered that. But is that even true?
I think it's true. I think that's true because like
so he's believing the hand's lie, or he thought the hand was lying. The previous one. That's why he got like kicked out. But then you're gonna go ahead and give him the potion.
No, I don't think
it kind of seemed like someone's plotting behind the scenes.
I think it was more so that he didn't want to believe him, but he know Daemon. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was more so like, let's be sure. You know what I'm saying? And give her this plan B, you know, which we just still don't know if she took or not. But let's do this, and then, you know, we'll see how things go from here, if she ends up getting pregnant or not. Because I mean, the Grand Maester is like, even before when it was like, you know, you got two options, King. You know, you can save one or let them both go. and leave it up to the gods. And I'm like, yo, those are some poor options. You know what I'm saying? But it's more so like they are not like proactively trying to treat it, and more so just like because they don't want the king to seem weak, I feel like. And I mean, props to the king because he freaking going through it, but he holding it down as much as he can in every scenario. But yeah, I think there's something to the Maester. I need to see whose side he's really on. Just because that was very like weird to me. I was like, bro, he's gonna give him some leeches so that his arm feels numb.
Like,
and it's just like
on to maggots,
right?
Leeches. I mean, this dude is not doing a good job. Something's up, bro.
Yeah, and then it could be. This is something I noticed. There's rats all around the palace. Could be the plague. What if it's the plague?
That'd be interesting. I kind of just thought it was what's that word? Like
the when you get cut.
Like foreshadowing, kind of like the rats are like
a bad omen.
Yeah, kind of like
something like death or something.
The disease of the Targaryens, or like they're feasting on the house of the Targaryens type thing.
Yeah, like this is a moment that will live on to be the part of the downfall. Like pay attention to this. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like slowly the glorious house of the Targaryens,
right, or
house of the dragons is like slowly being infested with rats one by one, and then eventually it's gonna come crashing down. That's all.
I feel
that's all I'm thinking. But
I feel that. Without further ado, man, let's get into this wedding, because the wedding it's no Game of Thrones wedding without some death in it, and I almost didn't think we were gonna get there. But before we do talk about that part, let's talk about these entrances, bro, because the entrances went crazy. I feel like the Valerians for me had the best one, but Alicent and Daemon had their own go-to ones as well. But for me, it was more so just seeing the Valerians walking like as a group, as a family, and it just showed like, oh, this is our strength as a house, because everybody else was seated. You know what I'm saying? Rhaenyra and the king were already there. And for me, I was like, oh, that's tough, because that's like, they got lines on lines on lines, whereas it's just Daemon and them, it's just a couple versus a whole family. So for me, that showed strength. But what was your favorite part of the wedding? Because that's not my favorite part, but that's just like what came to my mind initially, first takeaways.
I mean, I'm gonna just say my favorite part of the wedding is when Alicent walks in and they make that hint that isn't it green
of blacks,
like a green beacon from where she's from, meaning war.
Yeah, something like that.
And I was like, let's go, like, because then when she sits down, it's like even Rhaenyra knows,
right? Something
is up,
something different. Something
like she's not in her normal like Queen Red, Targaryen Red. She's in green now. Right. And back in those days, like what you're wearing, and I think the Valerians wear blue or something like that. But like these colors mean something. So when she did that,
yeah,
and then she's like, "Oh, I wish you all the best" or something like that. It's like, yo, she is ready to go. Like,
yeah,
raise your glasses, everyone. I just want to let y'all know, me and the king have decided Aegon's on the throne. Have a nice night. Right. See y'all later.
She ready to fight, right?
Yeah. Guards, anyone protest? Like something like that.
Yeah.
So I was excited. I was like, oh man, she's finally becoming like an actual character where I can care about, compared to like before it was just kind of like she's just in the side. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, she definitely got seen this episode. But I like the way she's moving, because she could be moving recklessly like Daemon, but she's choosing to,
she held her tongue.
Yeah, she held her tongue, and she's like, yo, like, she walked over to her family and was like, yo, it's up. Just know that. Like, it's up. And, and everybody was paying attention, like you said, to her. But, even with Daemon, like the way Daemon moves, he doesn't really say too much, but like his actions say 1,000 words. So seeing him just go from person to person in the whole dance floor, and they was doing their thing. For me, the dance was too long, but that's just a little something for me. But to see him go from Rhaenyra to Lenora, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, y'all are bad. I was
He a
like,
dog. He a dog. David, you dog.
you know what I'm saying? Like, he was talking spicy to everybody, and I was just like, but my thing about Lenora was like, she was talking spicy back. I was like, whoa, what happened to the little girl that was in the first episode that was like, King, my mama told me to tell you that, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a whole, I was just like, it felt like I was looking at a reflection. I'm like, yo, like, what is going on right here?
Like, this man had a whole club move. He's like, all right,
right.
so I'm going to hit this shorty up first.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go back to the main joint just to make sure, just in case that don't work, I'm going to bounce back to see her later tonight.
Right.
Like,
he was in this jig and that joint too. I was like, okay, damn, he going crazy. But, that is sort of kind of what starts stirring the pot, you know what I'm saying? Because Rhaenyra and Lenora have their dance and everybody joins in. But for me, I was just like, okay, so these must be important people that are here at this dinner, because for them to be able to just go and dance with everybody, I was like, okay, these must be the most important people in the kingdom, because like they wouldn't just be dancing with no commoners like this in
major houses.
Right. So that was interesting to me. But we also got to see how they shot this thing, because when Rhaenyra and Daemon were talking in Valorian in the native tongue, we got to see how, like, what people's perspectives was of that, and one being the king. The king was grubbing at this point, but he was still paying attention to what was going on. So I love the way that they shot it, because they shot it like at eye level, and it reminded me of like a food fight where it was like the beginning where it was like stirring, everybody was just looking around trying to figure out what's going on, and then boom, it happens, somebody get knocked out. So Chris, how did you feel about the fight? Because for me, I was like, bro, ain't no way this going down. I was like, I was waiting for some violence.
Well, right before the fight, Daemon started stirring the pot again and went up to Rhaenyra and was like, you gotta get with me. What's going on? And she was like, all right, hey, if you're gonna if you want me, go ahead and slay all the Kingsguard then. Like, I'm not married yet. You can go ahead and do it. And then it seemed like they was about to kiss, and the king was like,
nah, y'all not finna do this here.
Daemon? Like, wait a minute. And then boom, just everyone going crazy. The guards come in, rushing through. I'm like,
right,
someone is definitely getting murdered type thing. But I was like, it can't be Daemon and Rhaenyra. Like,
and couldn't tell who it was.
And bro, this man, what's his name? Sir Christensen and Joffrey, the gosh, what's it? I can't remember the dude's name. The guy's lover.
Oh, Lenore.
Lenore's lover. He is like beating his face in because he knows the whole secret between him and Rhaenyra.
Yeah, he got pressed though. He pressed him.
But it was kind of like
he pressed him.
I know what you're doing with the queen.
Right.
I'm doing that with the king, the prince,
or whatever. To an understanding, so we both be on the same page.
Let's watch each other back, pal.
Yeah.
And then he's like, nah.
But no, but even then though, like, we saw that conversation. This happened after that. So what did he say? What did he say to him after they start panning? That's when the king was looking around to see what was going on, because we don't know what actually triggers Cole.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's because it's kind of like everyone, like, more people know that he's not this honorable knight. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking it's just his character. We didn't really get to see fully, but he is this guy of honor, this man of honor, and he felt that he's lost it trying to be with Rhaenyra. Now that multiple people know, he just snaps.
Yeah.
And kind of like when he said to the queen, like, oh, go ahead and like kill me. Like, it's just showing that at this thing, he can't take the fact that he feels like he's broken his entire worldly vow type thing.
Right.
And like I said, we didn't get to see the exact exchange or what really triggered him, but That's all. We'll see what happens because he also hits what's his name, Lenore.
Lenore, yeah.
He hits him too.
Right.
While he's murdering this dude, like a scene from Game of Thrones when the Mountain was killing the
Pedro.
Oberyn.
Yeah. Pedro Pascal.
I'm just like,
yeah.
This man's face looked like a slab of meat. It looked ridiculous. I was like, dang, Game of Thrones.
I forgot he had armor.
Of course, a Game of Thrones wedding would end like this. And
yeah. But it wasn't even the wedding, bro. It was the pre-reception. It was the pregame. That's what's crazy about it. It was the pregame. And for me with Cole in this situation, it just led me to thinking like, okay, we done seen, like, this is what happens when he snaps, right? And he is somebody that thrives off of purpose and knowing that he's doing the right thing, So I think he's going to be straight. I think, as you saw, like, Alicent comes and saves the day because he was finna body himself. But, she's going to give him purpose. And then I think he's going to be her mountain to her Cersei. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that because at this point, he's the most like accomplished fighter that we done seen. I mean, Daemon killed the freaking crab man, but that wasn't really a fight, and everybody else was just basically cell swords. They couldn't hit the side of a barn like it. And Christian Cole beat Daemon, so it's just like having that as your go-to guy is definitely going to play a factor later on. But that death scene was another Joffrey death. You know what I'm saying? And it was like there was a theory where it was like, this was a callback to when Joffrey died before, because only one person died at that wedding as well. Which was Joffrey, because he died of poison. Yeah. So I was like, dang, that's sick if that's the case. But seeing Lenore sob and cry and just wail, the fact that he lost somebody he cared so deeply about was very telling. And then they got right to it. They got right to the altar. Everybody was crying, and
dark.
It was just like, yo, we in the mix, bro. Like, it has begun. So they forced the marriage. The king passes out before it even gets done. We see a rat sipping up or sniffing the king's blood. So who knows what that means? Yeah, who knows what that means? And then we see Alicent and Cole, make their new pact or whatever. Yeah. So that was Alicent finna run the table. That's what I got from this episode. But other than that, man, like what you got, any closing statements for House of the Dragon? Because
I mean, I just think this episode is just nicely wrapped with why each character's motives and why they're doing what they're doing. Like, this is really what I like in Game of Thrones, where the characters' motives are what drive them.
Yeah.
And while I may not like them, it's the character. Like, like Cole, you went sweet boy, but minimum, it's driving why this stuff is happening. And now put Rhaenyra in a horrible position. It puts the queen, maybe, like you said, he's now her mountain type thing. And now he's sitting there kind of like the shamble of a knight. And it's just great writing all throughout. And it just leads on to this, I guess next week, we're doing the time jump. And I just cannot wait to see what this one episode does with the time jump. Because these are going to be new characters after this day.
Right. And new cast. Yeah.
Yep. How'd you feel with the episode overall?
It was fire, bro. It was fire. It was one that I was just like, bro, this is the real show. Like, I finally feel like we got to the real show. And I feel like I say that after every episode, but it's like, nah, this is it right here.
Yeah, this one's it.
Because we had loss, we had, plotting, we had people making alliances, we lost like people not making alliances, and it was just amazing, bro. Alicent MVP. That's all.
Yeah. Shockingly. My favorite episode, Alicent is the best character in the episode. That's
Mhm.
ridiculous. I just can't believe it.
Yeah. So that's gonna do it for our House of the Dragon talk. I do want to talk a little bit more about She-Hulk because I'm upset. I'm upset
She-Hulk.
because
That don't trash. That
we
don't
talked
trash, bro.
we talked about it before, bro, and I'm just like, yo, how they just gonna play with us like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, bring the Daredevil is the only person that's gonna be able to save the show. You know, and I don't think it's gonna be enough. I'm gonna be real. I don't think it's gonna be enough because like I feel like the last episode was probably the the best like paced and felt like a real comedy show, but it still wasn't like mad funny, you know. And you know we talked about it a little bit before about like just the issues with this episode, but you know for me it really comes down to the writing of these characters because you can have a bad lawyer show and it be like you know it the actual like lawyer part be bad, but if it's a comedy like this is the draw, you know, like make it funny. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think it's funny, bro, at all, and I don't know who's in there messing up, but somebody in there messing up.
Yeah, I'm with you. Some shows that you find funny, I don't find that funny, but I
Right.
can see why people love these characters or why they love these
Mhm.
characters and why they think they're so funny. Like half the time they'll be like, "Oh, I know someone like that," type thing,
Yeah.
and I can say, "Oh, okay," and like I'm just not getting it. For this
Mhm.
show, it just is not funny. It's
Yeah.
just not funny, and I probably would agree with you. This last episode was probably more concise on what they're trying to do.
Mhm.
The only issue I had with it was it felt like a filler episode to me also.
Yeah.
Uh, like it doesn't feel like a main episode, and how can that be one of your good episodes type thing?
Right. And it's like
God,
and for me it goes down to like the that she doesn't want to be a superhero. So why am I watching the show? You know what I'm saying? Like what's the point if she's not gonna be a superhero? Like yes, she finally getting her suit, you know, and hopefully that means that she starts going out more and doing more stuff. But if it's just gonna be, you know, copyright law this episode, then you know, I don't know all the different lawsuits that can happen, but you know, just a defamation case next episode. Like, make that the premise, but tie me in with some Marvel stuff. Because at this point, the only thing that says Marvel about this show is the fact that she's She-Hulk and she forgets and she turns a couple times an episode, and when she's in the office, and them bringing elements in like Daredevil's helmet or having the Hulk in there or having Wong in there or whatever, bruh. And it's just like it's like I'm reaching for like the little pieces of Marvel in it, and it's not doing the thing that it's supposed to do. And I had to say it.
yeah, it's like the She-Hulk element isn't doing enough for me
Mm-hmm.
to like it, and that's unfortunate because if it was more like the Wong episode when Wong was first introduced, and
Yeah.
she's luring up the villain type thing, and we're seeing this like, so what happens to the villain? How do they get out, or what are they gonna do, or where are they at now?
Right. Right.
I wouldn't mind it,
Mm-hmm.
but and her going back to her normal life, dealing with being the She-Hulk, it just feels like the writing isn't good.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to do what we're talking about, and it's just bad. Like, like I don't know
Yeah.
if they just need a different writer or different joke person, whatever that job title is. They need
Right.
a new person of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's too late because they already made the show, so it's only. I'm not gonna say it's gonna get worse, but I can't see it hitting another season after this, bro. I can't do it.
I cannot.
I cannot do another season of this, man. I think she'd be a good side character added to a movie in case somebody get in trouble and need some help in the courtroom, and just to get her a little one scene in where she helps you first and then she saves you in court. That'd be nice, but you know, like,
Like I kind of wish this was She-Hulk and then Daredevil in the same show,
mm,
like them bouncing back and forth, but it's the She-Hulk show type thing.
Right.
but she's like been going against Daredevil the whole time, trying
Yeah.
to beat him in a case. Like
Right.
there's just this version is just not good. And
Mm-hmm.
if they get a second season, I
Yeah.
really hope they change up something because
Yeah. And
it's
it's no fault to the side characters in this too, because I feel like the side characters are doing more for the story than Jen herself. Because Jen don't
they're
even
not
like Jen.
bad.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's moments where I feel like I'm watching iCarly, where like the moment where they get all the Avengers merch, right? And then the next scene, they all wearing the whole thing. I'm like, "Yeah, no way you just do that, bro. Like you might buy it, but like I can't see both of y'all putting on snapback, putting on the different shirts and just doing that. And it's like, bro, it's not it. This is not 2010. Like, come on. Like I don't even know what era iCarly was, but like it gave me those types of vibes where I
Right.
was just like, yeah, like it just gave me those vibes where I was like, bro, this is not for us.
I'm
It's not
telling you,
for
bro,
us.
13 below. I don't know
Yeah.
what made me say it, but
You might be
I'm just
right, bro.
I'm just looking at it like something is wrong here. Just something is wrong here. I don't know.
Oh my
I really wonder
gosh.
if anyone else is out there like that. Like, yeah,
Nah,
I'm not laughing, but maybe if I was younger, I'd be laughing. Like,
I mean, anytime I bring up She-Hulk on stream, people are like, "Why are you still watching that?" You know?
really?
Yeah, and it's not going over well for a lot of people, but it just brings in me to question, what do people see in those first 4 episodes that had them excited? Because it's the first episode after that, and it didn't make me any more excited. Like, you're not even going to give me Daredevil, and you're going to put Daredevil in the trailer, but not put him in the first episode back after the mid-season ending or finale. Like, it's just not doing it. It's not doing it. And the whole Thunderbolts angle is shot now too, just because it's just like I can't see them doing this such an important thing in this piss poor show. You know?
Yeah.
So y'all
And
thinking about
it's kind of like you don't want them to do it either.
right. I don't want them to waste that moment on this show. So if y'all are debating, this probably be the last time we talk about it until it's over with. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, if you're debating on if you want to start, I'll just wait and maybe not even watch it. Right.
Yeah, binge it for like a weekend when you're waiting to get
Right.
picked up to go out and have fun.
Right. Well, before the next drought happens, that this is a perfect drought show to watch. But Chris, what you geeked about, man? What you geeked about?
I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm geeked about Andor. 3 episodes coming out.
Okay.
3 episodes coming out. I want to say it's on Thursday. And the rumor was that it was a much more serious Star Wars, so I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping it's good because a lot of the Star Wars stuff has been pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
And this She-Hulk has left a bad taste in me. So Disney Plus needs a win in my book. Pinocchio did not do so hot. So Andor, you gotta come through. You gotta come through.
Okay.
What you geeking about, G?
My Cowboys won this week. Got our first win, but that's besides the point. I'm more so geeked about Netflix right now. Netflix is kind of killing it. They got this new cyberpunk show that's out. I've been watching One Piece on Netflix. And there's just a lot more stuff on there that I've been meaning to catch up on. But other than that, man, I gotta say this, bro. Woman King is the best movie I've seen this year, bro. I ain't gonna cap. It's my favorite. I'm gonna have to go. Just because like, and the only other comparison I can make that's like on the same like type level, of like at least in the G-File scores, because it's the first 10 out of 10 I done gave a movie, you know, and I was debating before if Top Gun was a 10, but there were certain things I just did not like about that movie. The movie was mad long, but it was super good at the same time. But Woman King, it wasn't that long, and it was just good from start to finish. Like there wasn't really anything I didn't like about it. So I was just like, bro, I gotta do it. I gotta step out there on the ledge and put my foot down. And yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. So that's what I'm geeked about, man. let us know in the comments. You know, y'all leaving comments now. I see y'all on YouTube, man. I see y'all. Let us know in the comments what y'all thought about the episode and House of the Dragon. And are you still watching She-Hulk? Because, you know, this might be it for me. I ain't gonna cap. But that's going to do it for us this week. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you're following us on the audio platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you rate the podcast 5 stars. It helps us out a lot. And then also, if you're watching this on YouTube or any other platform, hit that follow button, hit that like button, because it supports the channel, and you know, we running it up over there as well. So we got videos on videos and videos, clips if y'all miss portions of the podcast or just want to check out something specific, you know what I'm saying, we got y'all all week long. So that's gonna do it for us. Appreciate y'all for tuning in this week, and yeah, stay geeked. Peace.
Later, y'all.